All right, welcome. Hope you guys are ready to go this morning. Not much happening, I know, in the U.S., so we'll get right started and really have a great conversation today, more about what Identic AI and what this technology actually means and what's actually going to happen. But before we get started, it's really important for me to get a sense of where your viewpoints are around this. So just by ways of hands, how many of you remember the Matrix movies? I mean, remember the Matrix movies? Okay, this is great. Good millennial audience, that's good. All right, remember the Matrix. Okay, I'm gonna give you two choices. You only got two choices. So there's the red pill. Okay, there's the red pill. Now the red pill says, slow this thing way down, man. Social media, turn this thing off. I want my privacy back. Right? AI, stop telling me what movies to watch, who to date, when to come home. Stop all this. Slow this down. Kids, get them on the playground, man. Okay, that's the red pill. Slow this thing down. That's the red pill. And then we got the blue pill. All right, blue pill says, hey, man, put your foot on the gas. What are you talking about, man? Social media, it's allowing us to change and bring people together. It's a movement. Kids are learning and connecting with people that they've never would have seen if they had to physically go and travel. AI is gonna help us solve problems we have never, ever even thought of possibly being solved. And privacy has been gone, man. Forget privacy, I want my security. Put me on camera, let me know I'm safe. All right, so we got the red pill, slow this thing down. And you got the blue pill, put your foot on the gas. All right, so who is taking that red pill? Slow this thing down. Ooh, okay. And who is taking the blue pill? Speed it up. Wow. Wow, no purple. No purple, man. No, you can't take two at the same time. Okay, red pill, blue. Very good. So you're almost split, which is kind of interesting. We're gonna talk today about what are the implications for what we just talked about, something that I call the singular reality. Then we're gonna talk about what does it mean for cities, and then what's the call to action. Okay, so let's start with who I call my Chief Application Technology Officer, CAT. Everybody should have a Chief Application Technology Officer. I hired mine about maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and his name is Malcolm. Malcolm happens to be my 8-year-old nephew. And he says, when he was young, he couldn't say Joseph, so he calls me Uncle Jojo. So I go over his house in Vegas, and he says, Uncle Jojo, I'm gonna play soccer. I go, great, we're getting ready to get up. So we get up in the morning, and we get in the car, and we go out there, and he has a great game. And the next day, he wakes me up early, like 6:30. Uncle Jojo, I got another soccer game to go to. I said, okay. You can play soccer, okay, got it. So I get up, I get in the car, I'm waiting on him in the car. And what is Malcolm doing? He goes to his room. He takes out a video game. And he starts playing soccer. What's going on? See, in Malcolm's world, it's not about living in the physical world, and it ain't about living in the digital world. You see, he's just living. It's a blend of the two. And when you're just living in these worlds, it gets a little bit complicated for us, right? Everything that we do is digitized now, whether it's Twitter, it's social media, it's LinkedIn, it gets pretty darn complicated. But what if we had something to help us with that complication? What if we took all of that social media stuff and instead of it being reactive, where I gotta type into it, what if it actually had intelligence? What if it knew me? So instead of going to my social media page, that page itself becomes intelligent. That is Identic AI. That's what Identic AI is. It's about a smarter you. It's still you, but it understands and applies your preferences, your emotional intelligence, right? This was beyond a simple agent that does tasks. This is something that's personalized for you, takes everything that you've done and becomes you. So, I've been married for 32 years. And I can tell you, if I have my Identic AI agent, it would tell you what has allowed you to be married for 32 years. It was very simple. I make all the decisions. It's true. I make all the decisions. Now, my Identic AI agent, who knows me really, really well, would say, yes, Joseph, you make all of the decisions as long as Lori, your wife, agrees with them. I get to make them all, right? It actually knows you. It knows who you are. It knows how you think. That is the age that we are headed in. Now, this has profound implications. So let me describe a day in the life. So let's say you wake up first thing in the morning, you get an opportunity to wake up, and the first thing it's going to do is tell you, hey, good morning, Joseph, how you doing? Glad you slept really well. Yeah, I feel really good. Well, hey, don't worry. Check this out, man. I've optimized your commute already in the morning. I know exactly what's happening. Take your time. And I've already gone through some of those early emails. I can tell you right now, I've taken care of some of those escalations, that early stuff. I got you taken care of. And I know you like to work out big time in the morning, so don't worry. We're going to hydrate you, give you some water. We got 20 minutes for you to work out, and I know meditation is good for you, so we got you all planned. So you got an hour right now to do all that stuff, and based on when you're done, I've already optimized your schedule to work. That's like the morning. Then you get to go to your job. Then you get there. Now what happens when you get there? Well, when you get there, hey, I got you. You know those escalations? You know, all those urgent things that hit you in the morning. Don't worry. I've taken care of those. I've spoken to your team members. There's a couple you got to worry about, but that's okay. But you got a big meeting coming up. Now, how many of you have ever gone to one of those big meetings? Maybe they're presenting to you. And you know, people come in with an idea, and they worked all so hard on those 27 PowerPoint slides. And no matter what you say during that meeting, they're going to go through every single one of those 27 PowerPoint slides, right? You see, they don't have a clue. That's not you, but don't worry. AI is going to help you. Because now during that meeting, you're going to have your AI dashboard, and it's going to say, hey, Joseph, don't worry. You know what? You're about to talk about this. I'm sensing some objections for some people. Here's some things you might want to say. Oh, they're not getting this. Let's go on and change your vocabulary just a bit. Let's lower your tone just a bit. That's what it's going to do. It's going to help you get through that session. And then you get to go home. All right, now we get to go home, right? First thing it's going to do when you get home, it's going to recap your day. It's going to tell you exactly, let me tell you, here's what you did. Here's what you did well, and make you feel good. And here's some things that you can do to improve what's happening, to improve your day, what's going on, right? And then once you get done with all of that, I'm also going to give you an opportunity to kind of re-energize, right? Take a break. And if you're lucky, your wife's not going to be home till late, so you get to watch your favorite show, Jack Reacher. Right? All right. So that's sort of like a day in the life of Identic AI. So how many of you are really scared right about now? Okay, that's about this. Oh, that's pretty good. How many of you are super excited or energized about this type of world? All right, this is great. Okay, for you, you're going to be really, really excited about the next couple of slides. Over here, we're going to try to bring down that anxiety level a little bit. So let's talk about what does this mean. I'm now going to talk to you about 3 core predictions that I think what is going to happen as we think between now and probably 2035, right? And these time frames, what can you expect to have some of these implications? So the first thing I want to talk to you about is, what if I told you that you could have 5 versions of you? 5 versions of you. Now, each version does one thing better than you. It just focuses on one thing. Maybe that's work, or maybe that's relationships, maybe that's finance, maybe that's your social life. It just does one thing better, just that one thing. But 2035, 85% of us are gonna at least interact with 5 Identic AI agents of our own. Now here's the deal. Before we get a little squirrely, oh, what about humans? What happens to me? Okay, here's what's gonna happen. If you think about a sporting analogy, right now, you're all players. You're all players. The next stage is you're gonna be a player coach. That means you're gonna play some, but you're gonna do a lot of coaching. Even the best players, whether you're Tiger Woods in golf, whether you were Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, everybody needs a coach. You just don't happen to be Patrick Mahomes anymore. You're not Tom Brady's anymore. You now happen to be the coach. So you're gonna go from player to player coach to coach. You are moving and evolving into a world where all the answers are going to be known. Value, therefore, is learning what question to ask. You will be a coordinator. That's how you're going to function and do your life. Now, this has some really profound implications on cities. Here, are you ready? Here's the first one. Let me tell you. Accountability is going to get very personal. These Identic AI agents, let me tell you, man, they are going to be evaluating government officials and people in power and what's happening, not according to some vague metrics, but they're going to say, how is this policy, how is this individual impacting you? Your Identic agent is going to score it for you. For you. This is a very different thing. We talk about government right now for the people. Well, this is government for you. We debate now about truth. What is truth? Impact will become the new truth. Meaning, how does this event impact me? Because my Identic AI agent is going to tell me how these policies are actually impacting and affecting me. It's a very, very profound implication. You see this now. If you said, where is this happening in tonight? If you think about athletes today, they kind of went through this transition. If you think about athletes, right? Professional athletes now, when you're a college athlete, they know exactly how every action that they take impact that team. And they rate it and they rank it. And they give them that type of accountability. Scouts have more information now than they've ever had before. Where now all of a sudden, your Identic agent is going to give you that. What does that mean? That means cities will now follow platform economics. Platform economics meaning the greater the level of participation, the greater the level of value. You should have a higher level of participation because now you are capable of understanding. You're capable of understanding how each of the actions that are taken impact you. Huge, huge change that we're going to see. Okay, let me tell you about prediction number 2. Okay, for prediction number 2, I want to describe to you a real life event that took place. So here was a family, they'd never been to America before, never been to the US. From Latin America, never been. And they visit Los Angeles. And the dad says, oh man, we need to get some breakfast. We need to find a nice little coffee shop. And the 11-year-old son says, there's one around the corner. Dad looks at the kid. How does that kid know that there's a coffee shop around the corner? How does he know? Yell out to him. How does he know? A map? How does an 11-year-old kid who's never visited the U.S. with his family, how does he know he's standing on the street and he knows, oh yeah, there's a coffee shop we can go to right around the corner? You know how he knows? Smell, good guess. TikTok, closer. Apple Maps, it's called Grand Theft Auto. That's how he knew. Grand Theft Auto, he plays the game. And he's playing this game, and this game is telling him exactly, around the corner is a great coffee shop. That's what he's doing. How many of you ever heard of Fortnite and Roblox? Okay, so let's think about this for a minute. Fortnite and Roblox, let's see. They have their own currency. Did you know that? They have their own currency, okay. They have their own economy. That means there's marketplaces, there's people to buy and shops they can sell. They have their own society. They have events and concerts. Travis Scott put on a great conversation and an event there. They have disputes. They settle their disputes. They have police. How much revenue do you think they generate? How much revenue? Do you know between the two of them, it's almost $9 billion a year for a place that doesn't exist now. Oh, if you took that $9 billion and you said, what does that mean to a city? That means if you took taxation from a city and you looked at taxation revenue as a percent of a city's GDP, that $9 billion would mean they would be generating about $100 billion in GDP. That means that would put them in the top 10% of cities in the United States. Still think it's a game? By 2035, 1 in 5 cities will become cloud cities, where citizenship exists without a physical location, where the value of a citizen is not based on where they live, but based on how they can contribute to that city. Profound implications to this, right? Data is flowing. It's a great example. I happened to go to China, and I got an opportunity to see, was first American to see one of their cognitive cities. Can't announce the name, but I can say that I did get a chance to see one city that they're developing. One of the things that was amazing, though, is they have this great data platform, and they opened it up for people anywhere around the world to contribute. And there was this young man from another country who had lost his grandparents, and he was very upset because they lost their grandparents because no one knew that they were ailing, and they didn't find them in their home for several days. He was very distraught. And so what he said was, he started thinking about, well, if I can use all this data that it's on this platform, how can I help solve this problem? Well, this young man, I think he was 16 years old, created this incredible algorithm. Now, he's not in China now. He creates an algorithm, and what he does is, it watches and monitors the water usage, and if the water usage goes below a certain level, it sends out a notification to the government to send out a social worker to check on these individuals. This is what I mean by having an ability for a person to belong anywhere, to belong to this society, to help that society without physically being present. Okay, clearly has implications, right, to a city, right? Talent, very, very important. Living anywhere, but being able to create value. This clearly has implications for a city. Second area, very, very important, is it definitely changes what? Economics. Data will become the new tax base, without a question. You have all these Identic AI agents, and all these Identic AI agents, they have to create, they need what? They need identity, they need compute capacity, right? This is a new source of economic wealth for a city. It's critically, critically, critically important for that case to be, for that to be the case. Okay, now, Let's talk about this third prediction. The final one, I had an opportunity to talk to at one time, it was the CEO of NEOM, and I'm the CEO of Autonomous, and I invited him to a ride day to see the construction, to see what it was like to build the construction of a cognitive city. So it was great. So he shows up, right? And what does he have on? He's got his hard hat on, man. He's got his safety vest on, right? He's got his boots on. He walks in my office. All right, I'm ready to go to see the construction site of this cognitive city, right? So I look at him, took his hat off, handed him an iPad. Took his safety vest off and handed him a pair of noise-canceling headphones. And looked at his shoes and said, here's a pair of comfortable slippers. I said, what in the world are you doing? It ain't about building cranes anymore, man. It ain't about construction. It's about the code. In a cognitive city, the physical world is an add-on to the digital. You know this to be true inherently, but you just don't want to admit it. Let me put it to you again. The physical world is an add-on to the digital world. Why is that? Because by definition, the greater the level of participation in a platform, the greater the level of value. The more people on it, the more valuable it is. I can put only so many people in this room. But on the other hand, I have an infinite amount of people I can offer to engage and learn in a digital platform. It doesn't mean the physical world is going away. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that if you look around the examples and the most valued things in the world, 90% of that balance sheet is intangible. It used to be the reverse. You want to be Airbnb or you want to be a hotel? You want to own a physical store right now or you want to be Amazon? It's happening. It's there. Cities just have to come around to that reality. It's there. You know it. So 70% of urban development will invest in these types of infrastructures. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to occur, right? Yes, there's connectivity. There's fiber, edge computing. There's a whole host of technology components that have to be built. Yes, but those are built for a purpose to enable unique experiences, to take existing assets and make them more valuable. So, here's what it means for cities. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, there's this great story that happened it was a Dutch story, and I was traveling, and it really dawned on me, and I said, wow, what a great story. And I call this the happiness paradigm. And the issue was, there was this great Dutch supermarket, and they said, we're gonna use AI to drive efficiency. Great. So what do? They changed the checkout line process to make it faster. So you know when you go to that individual checkout line thing and you're checking out yourself, they use AI to speed up the checkout line. Great. They said, this is gonna make everybody happy. What happened? What happened? Did it work? There was just one little thing, a little thing called a customer. Their customer happened to be more senior in age, more senior, more wisdom. And they came to the environment not to get out. They came to talk with the cashier about their grandkids and what's happening. They wanted to connect, and it flopped. So you know what they did? They used AI all right, but they didn't create a fast checkout line. This is true. What did they create? A slow checkout line. They created a slow checkout line to allow people to connect with one another. We talk about AI as efficiency, but what you're going to see is the ability in a city for it to respond to your feelings, your happiness. That's where you're going to see a whole host of change. Being aware of your mental health, being aware of your emotional state of mind of the city. This is where you're going to see more and more advancement. This is where you're going to see the true value, the rise of the emotionally intelligent city. Okay. It also means that you got to have a new social contract. So let me tell you, public and private partnerships, you got to get all over those. Those are not optional, they're essential. The other thing you're going to have to address, look, I'm big tech. We want your data, get over it. We want it. We want all of it. We want your data. Just say it, we do. We want your data. But here's the deal. You can't let us control your identity. Because if we control your identity, who's controlling who? The city has to protect that data. It's a new social contract, right? It's a totally new social contract, right? Big tech is going to innovate, but the city has to protect your data. You have to own your digital identities. You have to. You have to own that digital identity. If you don't, we're in trouble, right? We're in a lot of trouble. So when we think about navigating the singular reality, this is great. What's the call to action? What do we do? What's the next steps that we should take? Okay. First thing off, I want to tell you that this is a contact sport. What do I mean by that? You can't sit here and watch from the sidelines. You can't say, well, I don't understand this tech stuff. I'm going to let them worry about it. You can't do that. You got to get out there and you got to get involved. You got to take action. So Einstein said if he had 60 seconds to save the world, he would think about it for 50 seconds and take action in the last 10. This is something we're not comfortable with. You need to think through strategy. This Identic AI framework is a framework that basically says, what do you want to be as a city? What is your identity in the age of AI? But the first thing you got to answer is, what do you sitting in your seat as an individual? What is your individual identity in the age of AI? What is your role in the age of AI? Because if you aren't comfortable with answering that question, you can't help someone else. So lots of riches in this Identic framework. I'm going to give you an analogy. It's basically like Spotify, okay? Identity mapping and data awareness, that's setting your mood, right? You go, it's like, here's what I'm kind of interested in. The evolutionary adaptation, that is all about your personalized playlist, man. That's what are the things that you really like. That's your personalized playlist. When you get to your nuanced personalization, your technology-assisted optimization, right? That's a repeat. That's the stuff that I really, really, really like. Yeah, let me hear it again, let me hear it again, let me hear it again. And when you get to the intelligent adaptation and your continuous refinement in your playlist, that's just like your daily list, man. That's where it's giving you recommendations every day to kind of see and hear what you like and what you don't like. You need to think through what is your identity in the age of AI. It's really, really critical. Now, the second thing I'm going to tell you, we have a huge responsibility, and this is all around serving humanity responsibly. It's really important. Look, there's 7 factors up here. Reliability, it's got to be reliable. Data has to be transparent. I got to trust it. It's not about replacing you. It's about enhancing you. Agency, right? It's got to be adaptable. It's got to be fair, right? It's got to be fair. You got to worry about bias. Here's the thing. Stop saying AI is biased. AI is not biased. AI is just simply showing you that you are biased. It's a reflection of what we've been doing. So I look at AI and I say, oh, interesting. It's telling us, are we biased? It's a reflection of what we've done. It hasn't done anything it hasn't made up data that we haven't given it. Right? It's like some of you are shocked that there's these mass things that are happening to certain communities, all because now, why? Because they recorded it on a cell phone. It's been happening for years. Use this as a way to get better. Use this as a way to understand. And finally, accountability and safety. Accountability is my favorite. I tell my team all the time, I don't look good in orange, man. I don't look good in orange. I can wear a lot of colors, but orange ain't my color. What I mean by that is, let's be really clear. AI can be responsible, but it's not going to jail if you get in trouble. It will never be accountable. We as humans have to be accountable, right? Okay, so in summarizing this up, we talked about our 3 predictions. 85% of citizens will regularly interact with 5 or more Identic AI agents. 1 in 5 cities will function as cloud cities. 70% of urban development budgets will be allocated towards infrastructure. We talked about the call to action that we have, adopting an Identic AI framework, and being very, very clear on the 7 guiding principles to ensure that we are truly treating Identic AI in a way that services and serves humanity. We are at an incredible point in history, an incredible point. We are living in a time where cities can actually feel, where there's gonna be 5 versions of you and your ability to do and interact and handle things. You're gonna be able to live anywhere but belong everywhere. Wow. But you know what our greatest challenge is? It's not the tech. It's us. Our greatest challenge is being afraid to understand that it is okay to be human. It is okay. We are different, yes. But the one thing I learned when I went to Saudi, they didn't talk like me. Spent 5 years there, lived there. They don't talk like me. They don't look like me. They don't dress like me. They don't eat the same foods I do. But you know what? They want the same thing. They want their kids to be smart. They want their family to be taken care of. They want to have the same opportunities to grow and to help and impact the world. See, Identic AI is not about us in this room. It's about giving that single mom in Nairobi who has this great idea the same opportunity, not better, not worse, the same opportunity to get that idea funded as someone walking out of Harvard or Stanford. We have a lot in common, and I will leave you with this. We stand at a time where a single search bar, a flashing search bar, with all that intelligence, a single search bar has the ability to become the greatest equalizer in human history. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.